Views and opinions of any of the guests of After Hours AM are not necessarily the views and opinions of After Hours AM, its hosts, its staff, or any of its affiliates.
Welcome to the After Hours program.
Are you ready?
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Now broadcasting live from the After Hours AM studio, Joel Sturgis and Eric Olsen.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to this edition of After Hours AM. I'm your host, Joel Sturgis, right along with me,
Eric Olsen.
Hey, Eric, man, how are you doing? Not like cutting it close tonight, though, huh?
All of a sudden I looked up and it was 8:59.
I was getting ready to do the show all by myself. I had material already. I was going to talk politics, you know.
You can handle it.
You know what I mean? Just do what I used to do anyway, you know. Just da-da-da-da-da, drone on and putt people to sleep. I'm really good at that.
No. You never.
No, not me ever. Hey, man, did you, well, first, I suppose we should say who we got tonight for the second hour, of course, for our guest.
Very, very exciting. Very exciting. This is a unique, truly unique. We've had mediums, we've had mystics, we've had healers, we've had psychics. But
you name it.
We have never had a spiritual time traveler.
Wow. Man, yeah, I'm interested to see what she has to say, and that would be Sonja Grace.
Sonja Grace
will be joining us.
Traveler.
Yeah, spirit traveler. She's kind of a little bit of everything. She's also a psychic medium, you know, I mean, the whole thing. But primarily, she wrote a book, of course, that we were perusing earlier, of course. That would be Spirit Traveler. And we'll kind of dive into that and get her take on ancient mysteries, and she can maybe shed some light like in places like Stonehenge and stuff like that.
Very interesting combination of the psychic spiritual view of the world along then with world heritage archaeology. Yes.
Yeah.
What really happened? What is the real meaning behind these places? Chichen Itza, Stonehenge, the Great Pyramids, etc., etc.
Very cool. Very, very cool stuff. Hey, man, did you, I know you probably did this, but did you watch the debates?
Oh, of course.
What did you think? I mean,
I'm an American, you know?
Well, I understand that, but what was your reaction?
My reaction was, I thought Hillary was pretty much Hillary, and she was very, very well prepared, very obviously. I mean, down to the point, you stand here, keep this facial expression on your face, and these are the answers to the questions. She was clearly very well prepared.
But did you hear the conspiracy already?
Which conspiracy?
That she had the questions 2 weeks before the debates?
Well, I mean, in a sense, of course she did.
And
so
did you hear?
We all knew what questions they were.
And did you hear that her and Lester Holt allegedly had a conspiracy together? I'm sure you read that going around the old interwebs too.
Boy, I haven't heard that one.
No. Yep.
You got me on that.
Yes. I mean,
you must travel in the darker corners of the internet.
I do like the underbelly society. I do feel at home there once in a while. Just to see, what's going on and put my ear to the old ground. And yeah, there's a lot of, to be honest, it's the Alex Jones type people.
Yes.
And so those folks are always really good for some inside info on the conspiracy side of things.
Well, they sure are. I mean, they make it up.
Well, not that I believe it, but it's always interesting to dive into that side of things just for a minute. Suspend your belief for 2 seconds and pretend like you're buying into it.
All right. So seriously, though, regarding interview questions or debate questions, I mean, you know what they are without anyone having to tell you. I mean, it's the same stuff kind of over and over and over.
It's the same debate that they've had forever. Same questions essentially that Nixon was probably asked. I mean, really, quite honestly, nothing's changed. It's all
categorically, yes, you're right. I mean, obviously it gets narrower in terms of the individuals and things about their past and what they have going on. But yeah, I mean, the general presidential,
it's always been the same
election
problem.
Questions are essentially the same. Yeah. Well, to finish answering the question though about just what I thought in general, I was actually rather stunned, to be honest, that Trump just wasn't better prepared, or if he was prepared, he tossed it all out the window and just let it rip. He let Trump be Trump.
Yeah, he just kind of let the leash off, didn't he? He went kind of crazy. I thought there was just too much showboating, egotistical showboating on his side.
He did not come off very well.
In my opinion.
If not a Hillary fan, she probably did exactly what you thought she was going to do. She's a little stiff. She's a little...
Here's what they both did, though.
She's a little dry, and he was kind of unhinged, let's face it.
They both did a masterful job of sidestepping the questions.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be some of that. There's going to be some deflection. I agree. But like I say, I think Hillary... given her personality and just the way she goes about things, I think she was very well prepared. She answered questions, pretty much about the best, I think.
Problem is that personally, no one really likes her.
A lot of people don't.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
On a personal level, they just don't like her.
I know.
I mean, she might be really well prepared. She might be the best candidate to ever run for president, whatever they have to say about it. But on a personal level, the American people have a deep dislike for the lady.
Well, some do. A certain percentage.
A lot of people, though. A lot of people.
A significant percentage.
Yeah, because I look at the polls of just who do you like. No one likes Trump. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like there's a big, we love Trump. No, that's not going on. But when it comes down to Hillary, a lot of folks just there's just something about her they don't like. And, it's nothing to do with politics, nothing to do with anything else, just her demeanor they don't like. And that can win or lose an election.
It can, and you're right. Absolutely, she rubs a lot of people the wrong way. Part of it is she's just been around so long.
Yes, well, it's been kind of a dynasty, hasn't it? The Bushes and the Clintons.
It really has.
You know what I mean?
Served so many different roles. She's been the first lady. Think about it. She was the first lady. She's already been in the White House for 8 years.
Yeah.
And she was a senator, U.S. senator. Then she was Secretary of State, and now she's running for president. So it seems like she's been around forever, and a lot of people don't exactly trust her motives. They think it's all about the power rather than the service end of it. And I'm thinking it's somewhere in the middle.
It probably is. I mean, why would somebody spend $600 million to win a job that pays less than $1 million a year?
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about the power. Let's just be honest.
Well, I mean, sure, power is a significant part of it, but I think she sees herself as an important figure in history. Obviously, if she wins, she will be the first female president of the United States. That's a pretty big deal.
That is.
And she is probably the only person currently on the horizon and the only person who's come along in the last 20, 30 years, I guess, who could do that.
I was waiting, though. Not to cut you off here, but I was waiting for Trump to bring up Benghazi. I was waiting for him to say, if you can't protect 4 people, what makes you think you can protect all of us? I was waiting for that genie to come out of the bottle, just never did.
Yeah, he, after the fact, he was saying, I was too nice. There was a bunch of stuff I should have brought up, but I didn't. And, but woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah, well, that's right.
They do have two more. I just think it was really odd that given the fact that he had just as much time to prepare as she did, and he had certainly as much incentive, if anything more, perhaps, incentive, certainly as much, to be as well prepared as possible. I guess I'm saying more from the standpoint of the problem that many people have with him is his off-the-cuff
he's
approach to things, and his
he's just,
unbridled personality. So the fact that he, showed exactly those things in the debate probably did not win over a lot of people.
No, I'm sure it didn't, but the thing of it is it will be what it will be come November, and I guess we'll ride this show out as long as we can, because quite honestly, you know me, I hate them both. I'm apolitical. I hate them both. I wish they'd both just fall off the planet.
Well, I don't go that far.
I mean, seriously, where is the...
At this point, I am nominally a Hillary supporter.
Well, where's the real...
I'm not jumping up and down. I'm not excited about it. But, among the four candidates, I would say our libertarian friend has disqualified himself.
Oh, my God.
Yet
and
again.
I was hoping he gained traction. I really was. I was hoping. But, he didn't even know.
He couldn't think.
Yeah, who's your favorite foreign leader there?
Imagine this. He couldn't think of the name of one foreign leader that he admired.
Not one.
All he would have had to do is just name one anyway, of any kind.
And then he said Fox after a while from Mexico, and it's like, are you kidding me?
And that's a
Vicente Fox? Are you kidding me? That's the one you like is him?
He's a former leader anyway.
And he also allowed his country to become so corrupt? Really? You're looking up to him? Okay, I think you're done now. You might as well just go home. Don't even show up in November, man. You're done.
And the Green Party, it's just too narrow. I mean, I'm not anti-green by any means, but it's just too narrow.
No.
Well, too narrow a ticket to run on.
It is.
So that leaves the big two, and I don't honestly, as dispassionately as possible. I'm not thinking Trump is well prepared. He's not qualified.
No, I don't think. Like I said, I don't like either one of them. I really don't. I don't like Hillary because I personally find her to be very deceptive. And just in her conduct. Not what she says, but her conduct is deceptive. Emails, this, that, and other thing. To me, that's deceptive. And when you're president, you have to be very, very transparent and open. You cannot have no deceptive in your personality at all. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
We need to have a transparent president that puts all the cards on the table and doesn't have a weird underlying agenda, like she seems, in my own opinion, to have a lot of times. And I'm not sure if that's the truth or if that's just what I'm reading off of her, but that's her actions sure speak deception.
And unfortunately for her, there's an awful lot of people who feel the way you do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. But, man, we'll move on from that because okay, Eric, are you easily offended?
It depends.
Are you kind of one of these people that, war on Halloween? Okay, the reason why I ask is I'm sure you've heard this already about Home Depot. They had to pull
I saw that you posted.
Yeah, the Peeper Creeper decoration from the Canadian stores over in Home Depot had to be pulled down because, well, basically the war on holidays, and Halloween's one of the holidays, is alive and well. Home Depot stores in Canada will no longer sell a Halloween decoration depicting a peeping Tom following complaints. The $30 Scary Peeper Creeper decoration depicts a foot-long image of a hooded man, lifelike size face appearing in the window. Well, according to some female gender people, they took that wrong, as it's sending the wrong message. It's a slight against women. Dude.
It's reading way too much into it.
It's Halloween.
It's just another damn Halloween decoration. Let's face it. How could that be any more offensive than all the body parts and
exactly,
all the horror and
exactly.
Gore?
Well, a Canadian teacher, Brianna Hunt Wells, complained to CBC News after seeing the decoration at Home Depot, saying it's inappropriate and makes light of real-life sinister issues that women face in society.
Well, who says it's necessarily about women?
Well, it could be peeping on me.
Toms can look at whoever they want.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Maybe they'll try to look at the dude. They don't know.
Exactly.
Come on. You're assuming you're hot enough to be stared at.
That's right.
You're going on a limb here, lady. How do you know? I mean,
Go look in the mirror.
Yeah, that's right. Then you can judge yourself whether peeping toms would actually want to look at you or not. God, that's horrible, me, isn't it? God,
well, yeah, Mr. Trump with the.
I know. That's I was going for that too.
With Miss Universe.
I know. I was kind of going for that angle, actually. To be honest with you,
you succeeded.
I did.
So yeah, I mean, it's just people are overly sensitive. I mean, that is one thing that Trump brings up regularly. That he's got a point. People are very, very sensitive.
Oh,
everyone has their particular little fiefdom, their own little territory, whatever it happens to be. That's what they are most sensitive about.
So true. There's a lot of things that offend me, but I don't care. I just let it go. You know what I mean? Like for instance, Black Lives Matter offends me.
Because you're not black and not alive?
No, because the way they come across is very offensive. Huh? That should offend everybody.
Yeah, I don't want to get into that.
I'm just saying. I just find that offensive. But we let it go. We let it go because they have a right to protest. I think it's offensive that they block highways. Just saying. Just throwing that out there.
There are an almost unlimited number of things.
I hear you running away, Eric. Where are you going,
individuals
Eric?
Can be offended by, and it's a matter of your background, it's a matter of your personality, and it's a matter of time and place. Some things offend people in a given location that wouldn't otherwise. In other words, if you had a bunch of the worst, most gory, most despicable, horrific Halloween decorations, and you put them up for a church service, well, that would be inappropriate.
Yes, it would be. Very inappropriate.
If you're at a haunted house and see all the same things, then it's appropriate. You know, don't go there if you don't want to be. If you're going to be offended by it.
True. But what I meant is, I get offended by them clogging up highways. Isn't that offensive?
I don't know if it's offensive. Well, it's inconvenient.
You got to go places, right? So
places to go, people to be.
That's what I meant. Anyhow, an Australian man. Get this. This is bad. An Australian man's penis has been bitten by a spider for the second time.
Well, what is he doing whipping it out in front of spiders?
The second time in 5 months.
What?
Sydney, Australia.
Explain, please.
An Australian man was deemed the most unlucky guy in the country after a spider bit his penis for the second time in 5 months. The 21-year-old tradesman, identified only as Jordan, was bitten by what is believed to be a redback spider while using a portable toilet in the building site in Sydney. And he goes on to say, I'm the most unlucky guy in the country at the moment, he told the BBC. I was sitting in the toilet minding my own business. Next thing you know, I felt myself being bit again.
Aye. Well, that is wildly unlucky. I would say, man,
I'm just talking about...
Don't sit on those toilets.
Man, it just totally...
Save it till you get home.
Totally unlucky. Just totally unlucky. I mean, I've never met anyone that unlucky. Have you?
Not that I'm aware of, but I'm not sharing what bites my wang dang doodle with everyone.
I would
either.
not share that either. But that story caught my eye because
that's an unlucky fellow.
Being a guy.
This is a poisonous spider.
It is. It is actually. That is a very poisonous spider. And he keeps getting bit.
Got it treated.
I know he keeps getting bit by him.
Who knows what's going to happen? He's either going to have like radioactive superhero children, or man, they're going to have big
or
issues.
no children. You know?
Or no children.
You
Or they're
know?
gonna have 8 legs.
Yeah, they're gonna come out crawling out of the womb,
Literally.
literally on 8 legs.
Ay, ay, ay.
Yes.
Madness.
It is madness. The world has gone crazy, and it's just getting crazier and crazier. And hey, speaking of crazy, this Saturday is, guess what this Saturday is?
This Saturday is October 1st.
Yes.
That equates, in my mind, to National Ghost Hunting Day.
That's right. So what's going to happen? A lot of people have been asking me, because you are the spokesman,
I
because they're like, hey, what's this National Ghost Hunting thing? Why don't you go ahead, tell our audience again how they can participate if they decide to do so.
All right. Well, thank you for asking. Wonderful question. Yes, the first annual National Ghost Hunting Day is October 1st, this Saturday. And the main feature, the celebration of National Ghost Hunting Day, is the world's largest ghost hunt. And what's going on with that is 70. We got up to 70 different paranormal teams will be conducting investigations throughout the entire country. And I think it's in an additional 5 or 6 countries throughout the world. How cool is that? And all of this is simultaneous. This will be going on between 10 and midnight Eastern Time on Saturday night. And Brian Cano will be collecting information, sending out and collecting back information. They're conducting an experiment in collective consciousness. So that is really interesting. So you can see all of these teams, or most of these teams anyway, will be on live, Facebook Live. So you'll be able to see them conducting their investigations on video. And all of this will be the nerve center for all this activity. And Brian will be there, and all the board and various other individuals, the staff of National Ghost Hunting Day, will be at Scarefest, and that is down in Lexington, Kentucky, all weekend long. I will be there as well, my friends, so it's going to be very exciting. And we're going to have a big video screen set up, and they're going to be switching in between all these different live ghost hunting events, like every few minutes to try to squeeze it in, because there's only 2 hours. So, yeah, there's a lot going on. It's going to be really interesting. Our buds over at the lineup, the staff, they're going out. They're going ghost hunting, so they're participating in the flesh. We had a bunch of help from Destination America, our fave TV channel right now, cable channel. And they're participating as well. So it's really quite a cool thing. And this all came together in the course of really just a couple months. I mean, the idea just came through, I think, in early August is when the National Ghost Hunting Day was certified to be on the calendar. So it's really a pretty cool thing. And you can check this all out. Just go to the website, National Ghost Hunting Day. Just go check that out. You can also get it from the Scarefest site. You can get it from America's-most-haunted.com, and there's more information there. There's a couple of preview articles on America's-most-haunted.com where you can find out more about the event. You can find out more about Brian Cano's activity. Also, similar articles, just tweaked a bit, are up on the Destination America website, and they call their blog The Hauntist. So there's information there as well. Oh, and there's yet another preview story up on the lineup, and they're going to put their live activities up on their own site as well. So check out the lineup. So, yeah, it's a big deal.
Thanks, it is a big deal. Hey, how many people have signed up, do you know, or is it just one of those... Gonna wait till the day of to know how many teams are actually out there?
No, there's 70. There's exactly 70. Yeah, and I think the average event is at least like 10 people. So I mean, there are hundreds and hundreds of people participating throughout the country directly, and of course there'll be thousands of spectators.
Oh, sure, very cool, very cool. That day I will be. Let's see, I'm going on a ghost hunt Friday night at the historic Lyric Opera House. I'll be at an event on the 14th over there.
Very cool.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the flyer or not, but yes, we're having an event over there, and it's going for a good cause. That we're trying to restore this night. I mean, everybody from the Chaplin brothers, you name it, all the vaudeville stars actually performed there. Very, very old, very, very creepy and haunted, because I've investigated before. paranormal hotspot up here, which is a lyric opera house. It's always a cool place to hang out. So I'll be there, like 4 or 5 different weekends through October.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
yes.
it'll be a good time, man.
We put that up on the After Hours America's Most Haunted Facebook page. It's up also on the America's Most Haunted Facebook page. It is all over the place, but that will be fantastic. It'll be interesting, too, to see, since you will have multiple nights at the same place, it'll be very interesting to see what happens and what similarities and what differences there are between the evenings. That should really give you a pretty fair picture. As we've talked about many, many times, the problem with a lot of the ghost hunting shows is what you're seeing is such a tiny portion of what goes on. So it gives the impression that all this stuff's going on all the time.
Yeah.
But it's not like that.
Yeah, and I'll have different groups every weekend with me. So, it'll be different people, too, to see. Maybe one group of people spurs more activity than the other.
Exactly. Well, I think we agree that the mind, the soul, a person absolutely leaves an imprint on every place that they go. So having different people will certainly be a different collection of energies and imprints.
Sure.
I should add one more thing. As we were talking about Scarefest, kind of the big thing, besides going down for the world's largest ghost hunt festivities, that's Saturday night, of course, I will be giving my own presentation, musical spirits.
You're going to be performing live, aren't you?
I will be performing live. We'll be doing a PowerPoint thing, and I'll be talking about the 27 Club and rock and roll ghosts and all kinds of cool factual things. I'll be telling some stories that involve music and ghosts that I personally have experienced. And we will be concluding with a raucous Halloween song medley.
It's gonna be, well, of course, Monster Mash has got to be in there, man.
No, we're leaving that out.
You're leaving that one out?
Yeah.
You're leaving the Monster Mash out?
Too cliche.
Tell me that Don't Fear the Reaper's in there.
It is.
Oh, thank God.
Yes.
Thank God.
It's a 4-song medley. Do you want to hear what they are?
Yes, I do.
All right. It's 3 of the 4 are different from any other time that I have performed this show. So that makes it fun because it's almost all new. All right. We kick it off with the Ramones' Pet Cemetery.
Okay.
We segue into a cool MXPX punky version of the Scooby-Doo theme.
Really? Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you?
But much faster and much harder.
Ah, okay, like an actual punk. Yes, I got you.
Like as in truly punky.
I'd ask you to do some, but you can't do it now. I mean, you're just not in it right now.
Well, I don't have my guitar.
Exactly.
I can't just start busting
That's
it out.
right. That's just not how it works.
You gotta come to Scarefest, my friends.
That's right.
Check it out. I think they got real last-minute discount on tickets, and I think you can get a one-day thing. Just come see me on Sunday. You didn't hear that from me. Yeah, just come see. I'll be there Sunday. I think it's 11:30 to 12:30, and there's lots of people. Boy, this is turning out to be a great Scarefest. There's all kinds of big names from both the paranormal and horror fields, and the theme this year is Camp Scarefest, so it's all about Friday the 13th and Halloween, the various kind of outdoor, campy, summer, stabby horror movies
Cool.
will all be featured, and
Cool,
so it'll be fun. So all right, so the third song is Werewolves of London, of course, Warren Zevon.
Okay, that's a great one. That's a really good one, too.
It's fun.
Yes, it
And
is.
then we conclude with Don't Fear the Reaper.
Cool. Man, I wish I would be I wish I could be there.
I am very hopeful that we will be recording it.
Well, you better record it so we can play it live. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? Or not live, but at least recorded. Yep.
Play the recorded live.
Exactly. You know what I was talking about.
I do.
So yeah, we are definitely looking forward to that. That'll be really, really cool. And plus, it'll be really, really cool when you're over there at Scarefest to watch all the different groups run around and do their best to do some ghost hunting for a good cause.
Yes, absolutely. So there's a ton going on. If you still, if you are anywhere near the what do we call this? The eastern Midwest, I suppose, down into the upper South. So Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, anywhere around there at all. And you don't have plans for the weekend? Come on down to Scarefest. It's going to be something. Lexington, Kentucky, the 10th annual Scarefest.
Yep. Exactly. It'd be totally cool, totally awesome. You're not going to miss it. And of course, make sure if you're around my area, you come to the Lyric Opera House, come to that little event, and that'll be October 14th, 15th, 21st, 22nd, 28th, and the 29th. I'll be a busy man. Wow. A lot of dates.
Good God, man.
I know, a lot of dates. We got to run a break. When we come back, your haunted, America's Most Haunted Headlines. Don't go anywhere. Anavar Media LCC is a dedicated team of professionals committed to helping business development scale and protect their websites, mobile applications, enterprise software solutions in the Northeast Ohio area. Locally owned since 2012, our client-centered values truly sets Anavar apart. Contact us today to learn how you can get 25% off your first project. Call them at 234-380-4852. Again, that's 234-380-4852, or visit them at www.anavar.com. Again, that's www.anavar.com.
Northern Tool and Equipment.
I got a rather serious problem over here.
All right, what are we looking at?
Cranky mother-in-law asleep on the couch in the man cave.
Dear God.
It gets worse.
That's impossible.
She's passed out on the remote.
I stand corrected.
What do I do?
Okay, I want you to grab a Torrin Big Red hydraulic bottle jack.
Okay.
Now you wedge that bad boy in under your mother-in-law and crank her up skyward.
It's working. And got the remote.
Great. Now grab that Torrin Big Red 2-ton folding shop crane and put that woman on wheels.
And away we go.
There's no problem a little horsepower can't solve. Northern Tool and Equipment.
She is seductive. She is passionate. She is possessive. She is pure evil. She is Christine, a 1958 Plymouth Fury, possessed by hell. Her previous owner is not alive to warn her present one. Once she lures you behind the wheel, you will be hers, body and soul. There is no place you can hide, no place you can run, and nothing you can do can stop her. Because how do you kill something that can't possibly be alive? Christine, body by Plymouth, soul by Satan.
Do you have a question for our guest tonight? Don't feel like calling the show? Not a problem. Email those questions to afterhoursam@gmail.com. Again, that's afterhoursam@gmail.com.
This is the latest disclosure in a report from National Civil Defense Headquarters in Washington. It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life and committing acts of murder. A widespread investigation of reports from funeral homes, morgues, and hospitals has concluded that the unburied dead are coming back to life and seeking human victims.
welcome back to After Hours AM, everybody. I'm your host, like always, Joel Sturgis, right along with me,
Eric Olsen.
Hey, Eric, man, what is going on? First, I want to tell you, because you always ask, I actually watched the first 2 episodes of American Horror Story.
Uh-oh.
I liked it. I liked it
good.
better than any of the rest of them. It was almost like you're watching an episode of Paranormal Witness.
It was, yeah. I love the pseudo recreation.
I like that. It was really good.
Very good. Yeah, I agree. I think it's my favorite season since the first one.
Yeah, I would agree. I liked it a lot. So, anyhow, time for your America's Most Haunted headlines.
We are digging. We are digging into it. We are digging into it, my friends. Yeah, we got all kinds of news. So, whether you belong to Twitter or not, head on over to twitter.com and then find @AMHaunted. That's the America's Most Haunted Twitter account. Now up almost to 439,000 followers. So give us a follow and retweet, like the stories, check it out. If nothing else, just check out the images, and you can click through to some of the stories that we link to, but the images are super cool. Look at this picture. I love this. A Northumberland, that's in northern England, lighthouse. It looks like it's having a light duel with the Aurora Borealis. Guess who wins?
The Aurora Borealis.
I think so.
I would think so.
Much larger.
Yes, yes.
More varied light source. But look at the building that the lighthouse.
It looks like a face. Yes, it does. It looks like a frightened face. Like, uh-oh. Uh-oh.
He's going,
It's coming after me!
Northumberland. Yes, that was, if you watch Vikings, that was where they first invaded the British Isles.
Really? Yeah, that was a great... Is that coming back? Is the show Vikings coming back?
It is coming back. But you know what I heard? They're going to kill off Ragnar.
Really? Well, you know...
Really?
Yeah, it's
Star of the show.
It's a violent place, though. Those old Vikings.
Boy, it was a violent world.
Well, it was. I'm glad I don't live amongst them.
Me neither, me also. Yeah. I agree. Even though I am Norwegian.
That is true. You are a Viking at heart.
I am deep down. I am a Viking.
You are.
And you know who I saw is also at least part Norwegian.
Who's that?
Our guest.
Really? Interesting.
I know.
I have some Norwegian on me in my father's side. So a little bit, not a whole lot.
Didn't you say you have a lot of Finnish?
I have a lot of English. Sturgis. We come from we hail from Yorkshire.
Not Finnish?
Very little. Okay. Maybe a 16th. Oh, very little. My family came here we came here in 1760. My family did.
Very nice. Well, I am let me see. I am 1/8 English and 1/8 German. And that 1/8 English came over, that's on my mother's father's side.
Cool.
They came over in the late 1600s.
Really? So, wow, even later. Cool.
All right, let's move along. I love all the deadpan faces, all the pictures of Alfred Hitchcock. He certainly knew what his persona was how he came across.
He was good at it. He really, there isn't filmmakers like him anymore.
Not with that kind of person.
No, because like recently I saw John Carpenter and Rob Zombie going at it to some extent, at least media wise, and no one ever went after Hitchcock like that. Because he was the master.
Not when he was alive.
Well, anyway, you don't see too many remakes of his work either.
Very good point. And the few that there have been haven't been very successful.
No, because he did it perfect the first go-around.
For what they were, I agree. I mean, certainly he's one of my favorite directors. Anyway, here's the story. One of the Universal-owned studios is going to produce a TV anthology series based upon the popular films of Alfred Hitchcock.
Really? Very cool.
So they're going to take kind of like sections, I'm imagining, or vignettes, portions of the films, and then maybe expanding upon them.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
said they're also going to dip into his series, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, so it won't just be the films.
Really? I loved that series as a kid growing up.
Yeah, I did too.
And I was actually...
Good evening.
Yeah, I was gorging myself while my wife was laid up from her surgery. I was gorging myself on Tales from the Dark Side. Man, that was a good series.
How is your wife?
Oh, doing great. Doing great. Back to almost 100% already. Bounced back very, very quickly. So thanks everybody for all the prayers and all the messages of support. Really, really helped. And basically, I just sat around and watched Tales of the Dark Side and got her a Coke every now and again. Here you go.
Good
You want something
man.
to drink?
Way
There
to
you go. Yep. Wait on her hand and put in between time watch the TV. So it was easy.
Outstanding. There are worse things to do.
That's right. Like, root canals.
That kind of sounds like fun. All right, so you've heard about this whole evil clown phenomena, right?
I have.
I mean, they're popping up everywhere, or at least the reports are popping up.
Have you seen one yet? Have you seen an evil clown lurking in Cleveland?
Me? No.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen one around here either. But I keep hearing about these evil clowns. What do you think's going on with all that?
I think there have been a few cases of hoaxes. So, I mean, someone really was doing what they were reported to do, but it was a joke. I think there may be a few out there who are truly malevolent. I think it's possible. I'm not convinced utterly, but it's possible. There may be a few out there trying to do harm. And I think there's a lot of these cases that it's the imagination. A lot of times they're taking it seriously because, again, some of it has proved to at least be partially true.
Sure.
And so, the various investigative bodies, most of this is kind of up and down the East Coast and then kind of west down through the South. So it's kind of concentrated, although it's certainly a large area. Anyway, the problem now is a really great article in Rolling Stone that summarizes all these different sightings and tries to get to the bottom of what they are. But what law enforcement especially, are really getting concerned about is the most likely result of all this isn't some sort of harm done by one or more of these quote-unquote evil clowns.
There might be a few dead clowns, though, I suppose.
Yeah, I think the most likely result, the biggest fear, is a few dead clowns turning up. Because if you're playing that game, if you're pulling a prank, if you're out there playing evil clown, I mean, in this day and age, man, we got all these concealed carry laws everywhere. I would not pick a concealed carry state.
No. I mean,
carry that out.
I wonder what the clown would do should the 45 come out.
I thinking backtrack.
How would you like that to come up on someone that feels like the Dirty Harry that day and hates clowns?
That would be very unfortunate. But the clowns should be thinking about that.
They should be. I mean, really, they're taking their own lives in their own hands, really. I mean,
And with the volume that seems to be going on, it's just a matter of time. So, hey, all of you potential evil clowns, I would think twice.
Don't come to my state, man, because we have conceal and carry and everybody's packing.
I think it's a very dangerous game to play. That is for sure. Yeah. All right, another good article. One of our regular sources, Atlas Obscura, which is a kind of a weird travel site. And there's a really great photo essay on some towns, or if you can call them towns, abandoned. There's a mining town. There is a town up there that does still actually exist. And then there's a bunch of settlements that are abandoned. This is up in the Svalbard Islands of Norway, way up in the Arctic Circle.
Really? Cool.
And so there's all these abandoned buildings. So, if your rent's too high, you can head up there.
Wow, look at that. Man, can you imagine? They're all available, I'm sure, for a low price of probably $10.
Probably no price.
Yeah, could you imagine living in that barren wasteland?
No, I sure
can't. Man. Wow.
I have a hard enough time with Ohio.
Yeah, I don't even see a satellite dish in not one of those structures.
No. There are shots of the one town. It's a big, long Norwegian name. I will not try. And it appears to be, some aspects of civilization there, but that's
Sure.
about it.
Man,
For the Svalbard.
Yeah, I don't think I could live in those kind of conditions. No, I'm good. I'm going to stay right where I'm at.
And you know what else? I don't want to be buried in a pet cemetery.
No, don't get buried in a pet cemetery.
I don't want to live my life again.
Well, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. The movie, I mean, that said it all right there.
It did, and then this is the theme song. All righty, moving along. Did you know that tomorrow, Friday, is the fiery end of the Rosetta spacecraft, which will be crashing into this comet that it's been investigating now for some time.
Wow.
And we're going to get super close-up pictures as it
kills itself.
It's going to be sending back images of this
poor little Rosetta.
Poor Rosetta.
Little ship that could. Come on.
Plucky little fella.
I know. Jeez.
I know.
You could crash
so anyway,
it.
We got a cool chart of the path
like
that it will follow.
This is how it's going to die. Here's the chart.
I see the arrow. Explodes here.
Yeah. You die here.
So anyway, let us salute the Rosetta, which will come to an end tomorrow. But it has had a very productive reign, and I know NASA is quite happy with it.
We salute you, little fella. We really do.
You plucky little guy.
Yeah.
Way out there.
All by
dark
yourself.
Space.
Yes.
Okay, so we talked, especially last year, all through October, when we really covered Halloween and the business of Halloween very thoroughly. We had one show where we had several people from some of the bigger haunted attractions, people who've been in the business a long, long time and have seen the trends. And so it's very interesting to see the direction that things are going now. All right, so if you're the real big, amusement park destination type haunted places, so like, in other words, Universal Studios, Universal Orlando, Knott's Berry Farm, here in Ohio we have Cedar Point, Kings Island down by Cincinnati, on and on. So the big destination amusement park places that do, multiple huge haunted extravaganzas, how do they distinguish themselves from all the other haunted attractions that are out there?
Yeah.
Well, they're getting into virtual reality.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool. So I've heard, and there's a really good report, a pretty thorough report in the Universal Orlando blog that we linked to with lots of pictures, very cool, of this new attraction they have called the Repository.
Really?
And it's a combination of virtual reality, real reality, props and artwork and actual actors. And all this comes together to create your own personalized virtual reality ghost story.
Very cool. Man, that would be a lot of fun to go to.
I think so. The only thing is, as I was noticing, to participate in the repository, you not only have to buy your ticket, which isn't cheap, to get into Universal Orlando Halloween Horror Nights, you got to give them another extra $50 to do the repository.
Wow, man, they make a lot of money off that.
Oh, they do. But it's only 4 people at a time.
Jeez, imagine a line.
I would think there'd be quite a line. I wonder if do you sign up?
Is there reservations?
I'm guessing that there is. We'll have to look into that more. But if you would like to learn all there is to learn about it, just click through from our tweet at AM Haunted. That's the America's Most Haunted Twitter feed. And we click through to the blog story all about the repository on the Universal Orlando site.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
All right, moving along. I, being a huge Halloween fan, as you know, and gradually I'm becoming something of a Halloween scholar. I wouldn't call myself an expert yet, but I'm learning more and more as I go. I find it fascinating. We covered some Halloween cultural traditions and rituals and the background and history of it last year, but we really covered a lot of the weird Christmas traditions last year.
Yeah,
we'll be getting around, and we'll be getting to some new ones that we haven't covered yet this year as well. But I have begun my Halloween kind of history of Halloween series on America's-most-haunted.com. I think we got 3 stories up already. Today I put up history of Halloween symbols, pumpkins, and jack-o'-lanterns.
I see that. I read some of that. Very, very well done. And, it's really kind of cool how the jack-o'-lantern has evolved over the years.
Very interesting, and I bet a lot of people don't know that story. Do you know what the original jack-o'-lanterns were carved out of?
Turnips.
Yep. Right.
Yep, turnips.
And they're creepy looking.
They are creepy. They're real creepy.
We have a picture of one. We have one from the Irish Heritage Museum, and it looks like a mummy.
I had a conversation with a guy about shrunken heads today. Yes, I know.
What did you decide?
Well, how I ran into this guy, I don't know. He's a curator of all things weird. So he's an art dealer, and he primarily deals in tribal art. And he had started, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because jack-o'-lanterns made me think about that for a second, especially the one that looks like it's carved, the turnip one. And you know how I could tell the difference between a fake shrunken head and a real shrunken head?
How?
If it has nose hair.
Really?
Yes. I don't know how we got in that conversation, but he was talking about buying. I mean, they're becoming very, very hard to find shrunken heads. Okay. And there's a big counterfeit trade out there for them. And he had mentioned that he was going to go to, I think, Papua New Guinea or somewhere to buy a real shrunken head. And I said, well, how do you know if it's real or not? He says, I look at the nose hair.
Fascinating.
Oh, really? So you actually look up its nose and, you get a flashlight, look up there, if it has nose hair, it's real.
Wow.
So if you guys are in the market for a shrunken head this Halloween, make sure you look at the nose hair.
I love that. That is insider info.
A little creepy, gruesome fact there,
I'm digging it. I'm digging it hard.
It is creepy. I know he had a TV show for a while, and he kind of talked about maybe coming on the air with us and talking about some of these weird antiquities that he has purchased over the years.
I think that sounds great.
Some weird objects, obscure, weird, very macabre objects. But I'll keep everyone posted.
All right. So besides, just this week, besides the jack-o'-lantern / pumpkin history of Halloween symbols, I also covered bats.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. Love bats. I mean, I don't love real bats, but I love symbolic bats.
Well, you got to love a good bat. Come on. Dracula turned into a bat.
I'm fine with bats as long as they don't come around.
Well, I'm
glad they exist. I'm glad they eat bugs. Yeah, they're cool. They do what they do. Just stay out of my attic.
I especially like the ones that are made in Louisville.
I do like those. I have no reservations about those bats.
No, but real bats, I do not like them either. Do you remember when you were a kid, your mother always warned you about them making nests in your hair?
Yes.
No, that is not true, dumb. By the way. That is not true. You
know what I found out? Funny you should bring that up. Okay. You know where that came from?
Where did that come from?
All right. In Victorian times, so, a way back, a lot of women, the stylish women, had very, very complex and very high-rising hairdos.
Kind of like the beehive?
Kind of.
Okay, yes. Okay.
And then many of them, at the same time, also had hairnets, hats. They had articles in their hair besides the hair, okay? So in that era, although things were becoming more like they are today, there was still a much higher level of overall stinkiness among the population.
Sure.
People didn't bathe as much as they do these days.
Okay.
Okay, so you combine stinkiness, which draws bugs.
Okay, I'm following you now.
You got bugs swirling around these huge, crazy hairdos with nets and hats.
Oh.
And bats sometimes did come after the bugs
and they
were swarming around, and they got caught up in the hair.
Yeah, but they would never nest in them. That would take some time to build a nest.
No, they just got caught.
They just got caught in there. Okay, I could see that. Now that explains where it came from.
Isn't that interesting? So there's at least a little bit of truth to it.
Sure.
I have a bat tale of my own.
Mm-hmm. Do tell.
When I was I think a junior at college, lived in a big, you know how it is. You get out of the dorm, you're in one of these big, huge, old-timey houses, mansions that's been converted into student housing, right?
Yep.
So there's a bunch of apartments then within a big old house.
Okay.
So these big old houses, of course, have big old attics, and they're old, and they're leaky and all this.
Gotcha.
So we were in the house at some point. It was going into the evening. I believe it was the fall. In fact, I believe it was getting close to Halloween.
Ooh.
And it was early evening or getting into early evening. A bat appeared inside the house. Was not in the attic, but was actually flapping around in the house. And everyone just freaked out because the bat is coming right at you. If he's flying at you at eye level, that is pretty freaky.
It is scary. It is real scary.
You see him coming at you, this flying rat heading for your face.
Yes.
All right. So I was kind of ducked out of the way. It's flipping around. People are kind of trying to hit it with their hands or grabbing a pillow, anything they can. Fortunately for me, right next to me, I just literally reached down and there was a tennis racket.
Oh, look at that. That is the weapon of choice against the bat.
Ooh, the tennis racket is ideal.
It is the bane of their existence.
So you can just whack that thing like a badminton shuttlecock, and off it goes. So I did. I whammed that sucker. Man, he went flying across the room and slammed into the window.
Wow.
And that was the end of him.
Oh, you killed the bat? Oh.
With a tennis racket? What do you think I'm going to do?
Poor bat. I used to work in a place called Potlatch, and they made OSB board. This is years ago. I was really young. And there was a lot of vibration with the equipment that they used to operate with. And they'd make that. You've seen OSB board, right? Basically plywood.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. What was that?
I was making the vibration.
Oh, okay. So these bats, right? And the University of Minnesota at the time were studying bats because the back wall was not black. It was that many bats that looked like it was black because of crawling with bats. The very back of this company. And we couldn't touch them, but while you're working, they come swoop down at you. I mean, everywhere. It looked like a cloud of bats in the place sometimes. And you couldn't do anything about it because they liked, for some reason, that vibration of that particular equipment drew them in. Evidently, they're very vibrational, and they liked it. They liked it, and they go cling to that back wall, and you just see them. And my gosh, you could always tell when it was summertime, obviously, because it's warm. But B, mosquitoes would come out, and they'd really fly around. We never had mosquitoes around that place ever. They'd eat them all up.
I imagine not.
But man, it was creepy as all hell. You'd hear it. You'd feel them hitting your hard hat once in a while.
Yeah, it just, and there's something kind of uncanny about it. It's so creepy when they're all gathered together, and like you said, at first you think it's just the walls black, but then you see the movement.
Yes, yeah, because I remember I first started there.
Slight movement.
Yeah, I was in my late teens, and the guy, the
undulation.
Yeah, the third shift guy was saying, yeah, back there, don't go back there. Well, why is that? It's just a black wall. No, it's black all right, but it's not paint. And then, of course, what would happen is the sun would start to come out, and there'd be this mass exodus of these bats from this building. And so,
the beginning of Scooby-Doo.
Yep, they would leave because, the sun was coming out, so it's time for them to go. And so then they come back every night, just like that, until, of course, wintertime and no more. But, man, talk about freaky and creepy and gross.
Yeah, and I should state, it's not like I'm proud of doing in the bat. Believe me, I know the service that bats perform, and I know some are endangered. I know they're having a hard time with this disease. They get some weird fungus.
Sure.
On their nose, like white nose disease or something. So, and they perform wondrous
But they
tasks
carry rabies, okay?
But if they're in the house and there's one of them and he's flying around and buzzing around, getting up in your nutsack, I'm going to hit him with a tennis racket.
Up in your nutsack.
I'm going to hit him with a tennis racket.
Well, yeah, exactly. They do carry rabies. That is not a joke.
No, it's not a joke at all.
That is actually factual, and that was something we were warned against when I was working at this company, that if you get bit, you let them know ASAP. Otherwise, if you wait, you have to go get the shots in the gut, right through the belly button. But if they catch it early enough, they can give you a shot in the arm. And
I prefer that.
Yeah, I've heard, they said, trust me, you do not want the shots in the gut.
No,
it is a horrible series of treatments.
Oh, yeah, they do. It's like 10 days, every day for 10 days.
Yeah, and I guess it's very, very horrible, very, very painful. But you know what? You're right, though. I mean, bats do serve a purpose, but they're also, for us, they can be very, very detrimental.
They're annoying.
They are annoying. But they do.
Creepy.
They are creepy. That is kind of what they do. They are creepy. We got to get out of here, man. We're going to play some Fox News. We come back. We're going to have Sonja Grace joining us, and we're going to talk about, well, basically time travel. And the way she does it is a little bit different than what you're thinking. No machine involved. She does it all with her mind. So don't go anywhere. Be right back right after this.
Live from New York, The Fox Report.
I'm Lisa Brady. Passengers knew something wasn't right just before a commuter train blew past the end of its line, crashing into a station in New Jersey.
It was coming into the station faster than normal. Usually it crawls when it comes into the station.
One person on the platform was killed by debris, more than 100 injured.
Obviously, an extraordinary tragedy.
New Jersey Governor Chris Christie just after a first-hand look at the damage with New York's governor. Fox Radio's Gernal Scott is live in Hoboken.
Well, Lisa, this train commuters take almost every day has become a routine for them. So when it did not stop in Hoboken, people apparently braced themselves for what might happen. The NTSB is looking into the speed factor in this accident as it affects New Jersey Transit, but there is progress to report. New York, New Jersey Port Authority train service into New York has been restored, but not completely. Service from here in Hoboken to parts of Manhattan, and that includes the World Trade Center, still for now not up and running, Lisa.
In Gernal, that train that crashed today did not have the technology that can automatically slow a speeding train, renewing concerns in Congress about the decision to extend the deadline to the end of 2018 to install it.
Are you ready to go to the polls?
Hillary Clinton in Iowa, where it's the first day of early voting.
We have 40 days to win an election that's going to affect the next 40 years of our country.
Urging voters to keep the country on the right track. Donald Trump in New Hampshire.
We're going to end the Clinton corruption.
Prompting chants of lock her up, also saying his supporters won't be silenced on crime and violence in America. A sell-off on Wall Street, the Dow down 195, banking stocks weighed down by Deutsche Bank concerns. On the Fox Reports, fair and balanced. The devastation in the Syrian city of Aleppo pushing U.S.-Russian relations to the brink. Secretary of State Kerry says the U.S. is on the verge of ending talks with Russia about a Syrian ceasefire and possibly pursuing other alternatives over what he calls indiscriminate bombing of rebel-held areas by Russian and Syrian warplanes. The fight over a 9/11-related bill may not be quite over yet in Washington.
Congress overwhelmingly turned away a veto from President Obama to ensure families of 9/11 victims can sue Saudi Arabia. Now that it's law, House Speaker Paul Ryan concedes there may need to be some changes,
so that our service members do not have legal problems overseas.
President Obama has warned the law could create a flood of lawsuits overseas targeting Americans. A concerned New York Democrat Chuck Schumer, the legislation sponsor, says he'll look at.
But it has to be something that doesn't weaken the bill and limit the right of these families to get their day in court and justice.
On Capitol Hill, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
The White House says it would welcome a change of heart in Congress. President Obama signs the stopgap spending bill into law. That keeps the government up and running through December 9th. Now he's on his way to Israel, where former leader and Nobel Prize winner Shimon Peres will be laid to rest tomorrow.
President Obama and other world leaders and foreign dignitaries will attend Peres' funeral, including Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas, as a show of respect for the man whose name is synonymous with peace. Peres' dream of peace they still remain elusive.
Fox's John Huddy in Jerusalem. Wells Fargo, already fined for creating fraudulent customer accounts, is now also paying up for something else, settling Justice Department allegations of improperly repossessing cars owned by members of the military. The bank agreeing to pay a total fine in 2 settlements of more than $24 million. In New York, I'm Lisa Brady on Fox News Radio.
Welcome back to After Hours AM, everybody. I'm your host, Joel Sturgis, and right along with me,
Eric Olsen.
Hey, I just want to let everyone know thank you everyone for carrying. I'm getting over the tail end of the crud that I had. And so I want to thank everyone again for carrying and the prayers. I wasn't that sick after all, guys. I wasn't like dying or anything, but thank you so much all for caring about how well I sound on the radio.
You were hanging upside down like a vampire trying to drip it all out.
Oh man, it's that time of year. You cannot get away from the crud, especially in the Midwest, because we have such massive changes in weather. And so
sure.
And so you just can't get away from it. But man, enough about that. We got a great guest on tap tonight. I'm really excited.
Sonja Grace's new Spirit Traveler book explores 8 of the world's greatest historic sites, including the Great Pyramid, Stonehenge, Chichen Itza, and Tiwanaku, in an effort to understand what really happened at them centuries and millennia ago. Sonja shares her ability to travel through time and gained detailed information about who built each site and why, revealing startling insight into the people, demi-gods, and ceremonies of the past. It is amazing, amazing stuff. There have been thousands of books written about these sites from the perspective of scientists and archaeologists, and while this information is crucial to our knowledge, much of the mystery about them remains unsolved, but no longer, thanks to Sonja Grace and her Spirit Traveler book. A little bit about her personally. Sonja is an internationally known mystic and healer whose work helps people who suffer physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. She is an energy surgeon who spirit travels to work with her clients wherever they are in the world and performs all levels of healing, including restructuring tissue, repairing organs, bones, blood, and cells. Wow. I hope you're paid better than a surgeon because you deserve it with that kind of skill.
Wow, yeah.
We want to add, and there's so much more, so go check out the article right there, the show article at americas-most-haunted.com. But her background, her ancestral background, is a fascinating blend of Native American and Norwegian. Everyone we've been talking to lately is Norwegian, it seems.
Hey, man, it's a great club to be a part of.
Like me.
That's right. You rock.
Welcome to the program, Sonja Grace. We are delighted and honored to have you.
Oh, my God, I'm so happy to be here, and you guys are just cracking me up. I can't stop laughing, so thank you, because I love to laugh. And it's fabulous that you're both Norwegian and that we've got this Norwegian thing going on.
That's right.
Because, seriously, the Vikings had it all going on back in the day.
Hey,
we still do.
That's right. Mm-hmm. They knew the score back then. They knew how to get things done. All right. But you're really accomplished, and Sonja, it's very, very. It's really incredible all the different abilities you have. But I guess being that this is the first time we've ever talked to you, I guess we got to go backwards a little bit. And when did you discover you had all these different great and awesome abilities?
Well, it's a work in progress, right? When I was 2 years old, my earliest memory was being in my crib in my room. And back in those days, the cribs were very, very heavy.
Sure.
But I managed to roll the crib across the floor.
Because you're a Viking, Sonja. You're a Viking.
So my mom would come and get me. And I remember seeing my guides on both sides of the crib. And these guides of mine, high angelic beings, have been with me through every lifetime I've had here on Earth. So these guys have been around me ever since I came here to the planet, and there they were, rolling the crib across the floor. I was laughing. My mom would go, "Oh my God, how did you do that?" And,
Sure.
To this day, she tells the story, like, I have no idea how you used to do that. And through my childhood, I grew up playing in the woods, saw the David Kingdom, which is all the tree spirits and spry and plant spirits, everything. And I was wide open. I saw this, the spirit realm, grandma and grandpa when they passed, everybody in the neighborhood. It's like all my sensory systems were on. I could see, hear, feel, and smell everything that is unseen. And, I went through a really tough time because I didn't have anyone in my family who necessarily understood what was happening to me. And my mom, bless her heart, threw me into ballet class and said, well, let's get her in the arts. She's a little weird. This will be good for her. And so I grew up training in classical ballet, and I had a career performing, dancing in various ballet companies, and I was with the Oregon Shakespeare Festival for 10 years.
Oh, very cool. Very, very cool. But
it was fun, but it was wild because all this stuff was on. So I would be in the wings ready to go on, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, the choreography's in my mind. 2 PK turns, PK arabesque, and I'm thinking about, and I'm seeing things on the stage, like the ghosts and the various things that are living in the theater. And I'm like, oh no.
It freaked you out a little bit.
And I have to get through that.
Yeah. Well, it must have been look like an obstacle course to you. You got to go around that guy and this guy.
Exactly.
And,
It was. And they did Faustus one year. God, that is a really scary play. They had to put the symbol of, the pentagram on the stage, but they never completed it. They only did, they did all of it but one section. And I tell you, every night there was something very weird that would go on in the theater. I mean, bizarre stuff. Wow. That was a very spooky play, and I was seeing stuff all the time around different actors and people I worked with.
And it seems... I don't mean to cut you off, but it seems that theaters are always inherently haunted anyway. And,
I know.
You know what I mean? That's every theater I've ever heard about is haunted, but then you bring a pentagram into the old mix, and boy, business sure picks up then.
Exactly. And my whole early life, like 10 years, 12 to 22. It was rough. I mean, I really struggled with what was happening to me and how open I was and all these things that I was seeing. And given the time period that I grew up in, which was, the good old 60s and 70s, how did we cure things back then? Yep, you got it. Drugs, alcohol, party on. And I did. And I really tried to suppress what was happening. And it wasn't until I almost died one night and a nurse down the street brought me back. And when I was out, I had a complete conversation with God, who basically said, look, you have work to do here. You're a healer. You need to get it together because you're not going to come back again if this happens again.
Wow.
And and it was a direct line conversation. And I ended up in San Francisco in front of my first teacher, who my second teacher sent me to. It was really ironic how that all happened. And she recognized what I had. She recognized all of the abilities of seeing, hearing, smelling, and feeling. And she really helped give me the platform to work from with integrity and, real clarity of boundaries and how to maneuver in this way. And I went on and studied, like I said, with a second teacher and a third teacher. But all through this time, I've been working on people. And I was kind of old school. Yeah.
Think of all the people that you have helped. I mean, because of your gift. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, I love the book. Yeah. I do. But I also find the fact that you're helping folks out to be so admirable. That you're using these gifts to help others.
Thank you. I do want to say to you that although, people may visit my website and go, oh, wow, she charges for all this healing work, which of course I do. But I'm part Native American. I'm adopted on the Hopi reservation, and my husband is full-blooded Hopi. And so, we both have families out there, and I donate all of my work and everything that I do on the reservation for free. I work on everybody out there and take care of a lot of people. Yeah, and I give back a lot because I don't, it's not about making money. Of course, we all have to pay the bills.
Well,
but
exactly.
It's more about...
the light bill doesn't pay itself. Yeah, I mean...
No.
No,
it doesn't. It doesn't. And I donate a great deal of time to missing people cases, which are hard. Those are very difficult.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I really, oh boy, we recently in my state, the Jacob Wetterling case finally came to some resolution, and boy, that was a heart-wrenching case to read about, and boy, he was gone for such a long time. But you deal with these families firsthand that are missing someone that they love, and just the frantic way that they must come across and all these questions they have must be overwhelming at times.
Well, when they first go missing, I don't deal with the families. I deal only with the police or the FBI because I can't. It's too close. And and honestly, in the years I've done this work, I have learned things that I wish I'd never known. A missing child case is like the worst because there's just so many ways that goes sideways, and kids are sold into all kinds of slavery.
It is horrible, isn't it?
It's really horrible, and so I try to limit how many of those I do, and once in a while I'll take a case on. The one case that was probably the most rewarding for me was a gal who was a cop, and she was out of Hawaii. And she was missing. She was undercover, and she went missing. She was here in the States, and her mother called me and said, "My daughter's missing. She's undercover. We have to find her. I have a feeling something really bad's going to happen." And not only did I pinpoint the street she was on, like where she was, but I told her mom that they were getting ready to move her to South America.
Wow,
she was being held by a drug dealer who was dealing with the cartel, and they were getting ready to move her. And her mother, it was so cool. Her mother took all this information to the police department that she worked for and said, "I don't care if you believe this stuff. I don't care if you even think it's remotely possible. You have to check this out."
Sure.
And they had cars there that later that day, and they found her.
Wow, what a story! What a great outcome!
And then I met her a year later. She sat I did a presentation, and she sat in the presentation. She cried through the whole thing, and finally at the end she talked, and she leveled the room. She said, "I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Sonja." And then I cried.
Wow, what? Yeah. I mean, that's a great story to hear because there was a great outcome.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, and wow, that was really great that her mother was so forceful as well, going in there and saying, "You better listen. This is how it is. This is something needs to be done." Wow.
I know. But the stories I really love, you guys, is I worked on a woman in Puerto Rico who had a lesion on her liver, and I'm like a surgeon. It doesn't matter where they are in the world. I'm able to put myself in front of that person and work on them and go in and repair tissue and take out things and sew things up and put in bypasses and everything. And she went to the doctor 3 days after I'd worked on her, and there was no lesion. They couldn't find anything.
Really? So now I got to ask you, Sonja, is cancer the number one thing right now that is plaguing mankind?
Yes, I feel it is. Yes.
Because it just seems to be everywhere lately. Every time you turn around. In your opinion...
But look at something just for a moment, okay? Consider cancer on the emotional level. And consider how many people are not processing and dealing with things emotionally, but rather stuffing it in, commuting to work again, eating the wrong food, stuffing it in a little bit deeper, and then 10 years later, the person has liver cancer, and we figure it out. And they're really angry about stuff, liver stuff. They're not dealing with it. It's like we're our own worst enemies. It's a societal problem, but it is a bigger problem than just what we're eating and how stressed out we are, it's not dealing with the emotional body.
I agree. I really do, because I've noticed one thing that has been a constant in my life that I've known a lot of people working in radio, of course, and doing everything else, is positive people live longer than negative people. And that just seems to, I mean, obviously I don't have any data or anything back that up, but just personal experiences. You know, the folks that are happy and they're able to deal with their emotional problems and they really know, have their stuff together, live far away longer than the guy that's in the corner getting mad about every little thing.
They do. My grandmother, for heaven's sakes, 95 years old. She golfed every day. The sky was blue, even if it was raining. Oh, honey, the sky is blue. It's like, you know, she lived in her own perfect bubble of denial, and she lived to be 95. She was happy all the time. And I'm not, you know, I think it's great. I also believe and work diligently with my clients, you know, to get to the bottom of stuff, to figure out what those emotional wounds are from childhood and how they link up to karma from past lives, so that that stuff can get cleared and we can, you know, and we can move into a place of being happy all the time.
Well, it sure seems that us humans, have a real hard time letting go of things. Grudges just seem, we allow grudges to weigh us down. And you know, and that's with all of us. I mean, most of us have a grudge if you dig deep enough, but my gosh, those are almost like, they're detrimental to your health and they're detrimental to your mental health.
They really are. They really are. I call it resistance. Like, where do you have resistance in your body? You know, it's like, yeah, my right hip hurts right now. Okay, so what is that? What is that resistance, and why? Why am I resisting something? You know, we spend a lot of time, and again, this is sort of a sociological overview of what happens to people. We spend a lot of time kind of like the cat with Pepe Le Pew, pushing away, pushing away, pushing away. No, that's not going to happen. You know, because we're so scared. We have fear, we have resentment, we have anger, we have all these feelings of you know, this resistance that we're talking about. And holding a grudge is very much a part of that. And all I can say to you guys and your listeners is, you know, we got to really get on board the forgiveness train and get on with it.
I would agree.
Because the grudge
agree.
is only going to cause more illness in the body.
Now, do people, do they carry some of these grudges with them to the next life? I mean,
you know, some grudges are so deep that the person dies and they can't move on to the next place. They can't move on, you know, and go to the light and have another lifetime, on and on and on. They stay here on this earth plane and become ghosts.
Interesting.
And you guys know that. I mean, this is a part of the whole why are ghosts. And you know, in my book Spirit Traveler, I talk about how off Skellig Michael off the west coast of Ireland, there's a lot of ghosts because a lot of people have died in ships coming up to the islands, falling off the island because it's a high, craggy, you know, narrow, scary rock.
Oh yeah.
And these ghosts are, I believe ghosts have purpose. Like they're serving humanity in some way. Those ghosts that are out there in the waters and you can hear them, they're warning other ships. You know, and I instinctually wanted to clear them. And the ancient Tuatha and she was talking to me, the being that I saw there, and she told me no. She said, don't assume that just because this is a ghost that's here, that it needs to be cleared and helped to the light. She said, this ghost is serving a purpose, and it's keeping sailors and other ships from crashing into this rock.
Very
interesting. It was really cool. It was such
a
great perspective.
That is a great perspective, that they are actually doing what they're meant to be doing.
Do ghosts then have a sense of accomplishment? I mean, is that something that pertains to the spirit world as well?
I think that some feel that they're not complete. I mean, the best example really that I love is the movie Ghost. Patrick Swayze, you know, he's just not going to go because he knows that something's going on with his wife that he needs to protect her and help her.
Yeah.
And it's not until he gets that piece handled but then he goes. But a lot of times what happens for ghosts who have that kind of, no, I can't go yet, I got to resolve this, is they get stuck. And then they don't know how to get out. And I've helped many get out of this earth plane and up to where they're supposed to go.
Is it a lot of it? Oh, I'm sorry about that, Sonja. Is a lot of it fear of judgment? I mean, like someone that committed suicide on this world is, I've heard that time and time again that people that committed suicide have a very hard time moving on. And is it because there's a fear of judgment?
I believe that fear of judgment and also a great deal of shame and a great deal of self-loathing and pain and suffering is what's going on with those people. And yeah, they do get stuck. It's like they think, well, now I don't have a body, I can get done what I needed to do. Yeah. But they haven't gone to the light, so they're just sort of stuck trying to do things, but they can't do them. It's like someone who has an accident and they're stuck standing in the road, and people drive by at night and go, oh my God, I just saw a ghost standing in the road. Well, you did, and it's that person who's completely perplexed that they thought they had the world by the tail and that they would never die in a car accident. We live with this incredible separation from the natural cycle of life, and that is we're all going to die at some point.
Yes.
But we live in this bubble of, oh no, not me, I'm not going to die, I'm going to live forever.
Well, especially here in America. I mean, my gosh, we do not dwell on death at all. I mean, in fact, our old people, we don't learn from them, we put them away. Nursing homes and stuff. We don't want to be around death. We don't even want to think about it.
Exactly.
But
you know what happened to me? Let me give you interject here a bit. Both of my parents, who are now in their 80s, and they are both now together, fortunately, in assisted living, and that's been going on over the last year. My mother had a stroke about exactly a year ago. My father's now had 3 heart attacks in the same year. It's been a tough time.
Wow.
So they are in assisted living. So I go over because I only live about a mile away, and I'm the only child in the immediate area. Actually, I'm the only one anywhere near here. So I feel it's my responsibility. Plus, I want to. I want to be there for them. It makes me. It's important. It makes me feel better about myself. It feels like it's important work to do at this stage, and they do seem to appreciate it. So anyway, I'm going over, I'm just doing my routine, I'm looking for a parking spot, and who pulls up in front of the side door but the old hearse and the undertaker. They are wheeling out one of my parents' neighbors. And I thought this happens this happens all the time around here.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, let's face it. But they try to keep it quiet. They keep it low key. They don't want to startle people. But you hear people talking. They're at lunch together. Like, have you seen so and so? Oh, didn't you hear? He or she died.
Let me tell you, this is what I love about the Norwegians. When I was a little girl, my great-grandfather died, and my Norwegian grandmother took me by the hand. I was, I think, 6 or 7 years old, marched me up to the open casket, stood there with me, said, look at your grandfather. And I had to look at his dead body in the casket, get that information, understand it. And then when I got it, then she turned around and walked me back. And it was like, and when she was a young girl, her sister died. In Norway, they had to take care of the body, comb the hair, dress the body, do this whole thing. And so for her, it was a very natural thing. It's like, no, this is what happens, and I want you to learn that this is what happens. And I really thank her for that, because it made me much more comfortable with death, and it had an understanding for death that I see a lot of people not having and not being comfortable.
Well, I think partially, Sonja, and I really don't mean to butt in on you, because, man, you got it. You totally get it. And very few people do we talk to that have it like you do. I think a lot of it is we've moved so far in this country in particular away from our spirituality that it's almost that we are afraid of death, because that means that we have to deal with what we have coming. That we have to admit that there is something more out there. We have to admit that that there is a creator, that there is a God, because we're very, very secular in this country. And I've noticed that throughout the decades that we've moved further and further away from spirituality, and death has become just an inconvenient truth.
Yes, it has. It really has. And, you know, certainly science is working hard to see if we can't defy it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, let's all live forever. Yay.
No, thank you. No, I don't want to live forever. No. I mean, you know, it's...
The one story that I think is really interesting about ghosts and death is, you know, when I spirit travel to these places, a lot of times I'm actually taken back so far in time that is way before the monument or the site was built.
Sure.
And I'm actually shown what was built there first and how it built up, and then it went down, and then this was put in, and then that went down, and then this was built up. And it's really cool. It's like, oh, this is how it evolved and changed, and this is why then they put these Saracen stones in and made this giant site. This is why. And for example, with Stonehenge, we often, through the interpretation of archaeologists, have believed that Stonehenge had something to do with death because there were these burial mounds all near the site. And when I was taken there and shown what really happened, Stonehenge was used for fertility rites. It was big time for fertility and bringing those demigods, those star beings through, because they literally cross-pollinated with humans and helped create the human race.
Interesting.
Different star beings, different demigods. I'm calling star beings and demigods the same. They're one and the same, but different groups in different parts of the world, which is why obviously humans look very different in different parts of the world. We never stop and go, how come they look that way and we look this way?
Exactly.
How come they look, you know?
Exactly.
It's because of this influence, this cross-pollination of these demigods.
Makes total sense. It really does. I hate to cut you off, Sonja, but we got to go to break. We got to go pay some bills. Okay. We'll come right back with more Sonja Grace. I promise, everybody. Don't go anywhere. Be right back right after this. Anavar Media LCC is a dedicated team of professionals committed to helping business development scale and protect their websites, mobile applications, enterprise software solutions in the Northeast Ohio area. Locally owned since 2012, our client-centered values truly sets Anavar apart. Contact us today to learn how you can get 25% off your first project. Call them at 234-380-4852. Again, that's 234-380-4852, or visit them at www.anavar.com. Again, that's www.anavar.com.
Are you hungry? Hungry as a gremlin? Here's gremlin cereal.
Gremlins, bite after bite. What a tasty way to satisfy a gremlin appetite.
Gremlins is a deliciously sweet, crunchy cereal that satisfies the hungry little gremlin that's in all of us.
Gremlins, bite after bite. What a tasty way to satisfy a gremlin appetite.
Gremlin cereal is part of this complete breakfast.
Gremlin, yum yum.
Northern Tool and Equipment.
I got a rather serious problem over here.
All right, what are we looking at?
Cranky mother-in-law asleep on the couch in the man cave.
Dear God.
It gets worse.
That's impossible.
She's passed out on the remote.
I stand corrected.
What do I do?
Okay, I want you to grab a Torrin Big Red hydraulic bottle jack.
Okay.
Now you wedge that bad boy in under your mother-in-law and crank her up skyward.
It's working. The remote.
Great. Now grab that Torrin Big Red 2-ton folding shop crane and put that woman on wheels.
And away we go.
There's no problem a little horsepower can't solve. Northern Tool and Equipment.
Do you have a question for our guest tonight? Don't feel like calling the show? Not a problem. Email those questions to afterhoursam@gmail.com. Again, that's afterhoursam@gmail.com.
What's happening, hot stuff?
Welcome back to After Hours AM, everybody. I'm your host, Joel Sturgis, right along with me,
Eric Olsen.
Hey, Eric, man, we are having a great conversation with Sonja Grace. And wow, when we left, we were talking about Stonehenge, but we also want to know, Sonja, how do you travel back in time? I mean, that's the biggest question. How does that happen for you?
Isn't that, it's just so cool. I mean, honestly, I don't do anything other than hopefully sit down before I do it. And my guides, I already told you guys about my guides.
Sure.
That I don't go anywhere without them. They're really the ones that navigate the whole thing. And I travel with them because, when I do go out there and I'm not with them and it's only happened maybe once, it's like, it's the universe is a very scary place. There's a lot of things out there, and I travel with them. And they take me, and when we go, literally, it's like we're flying through the air. We go up into the, and we go way up, way higher than 30,000 feet. And we fly all the way to the place that we're coming. And when we come down to that place, like I said, sometimes the monument is there, sometimes it's not there, and we're way back in time. So I don't travel without them.
Yeah.
And it's not a form of astral projection. It is literally, when I go into meditation, my whole body kind of dissolves, like there's no body. And then then I go with them. I mean, it's like boom, and we go.
So you're physically there. I mean, you can touch what's around you.
I feel that. I feel that. And there's times when I've come back and I tell you, I am so disoriented. I mean, I'm kind of like embarrassed to say that, but it's like I have to look around my house and go, okay, where am I? I'm really out of it, kind of,
Sure,
so I
would
know
imagine.
It's like, okay, I've really been somewhere, but I have to figure out what time it is. And there's times when I travel that it's like 3 hours that I'm gone, and there's other times when it's it's 20 minutes and it feels like it's an entire day.
Wow, so
this whole time space thing is really not what we think it is.
A little jet lag going on once in a while.
Yeah. Back to Stonehenge, that people think that it's about a burial site, ceremony, death ceremony, that kind of thing. They buried their high priestesses near the monument in hopes that they would go back and get the demi-gods and bring them back. See, when they built Stonehenge and they put the monument, the big stars and stones there, it was their last gift to the people. It was the last thing that they did to remind the people, this is who you are, this is what we've taught you, these are the ceremonies. And it's much bigger than Stonehenge. That whole Salisbury Plain has stones that are still underground.
Okay.
But there's so many. I mean, there's over 1,000 stone circles in the UK, for heaven's sakes.
Wow.
All of these sites are marking energy. God, I wish someone would let me talk to NASA, for God's sake.
Yeah. Do ley lines.
They're all marking energy. It's like energy leaving the earth, energy coming from the cosmos to the earth. And some of these sites are both energy from the earth and energy coming down.
Do ley
and they're
lines,
portals. They're all portals.
Do ley lines play a part in it?
Sure they do. But the ley lines, my experience of ley lines is that they do not run through these portals.
Okay.
They don't run through these portals. And these portals are, I mean, some of these portals, I went to one stone circle in England, and God, the whole group I was with, we were mind blown because there was cosmic energy coming in, and all this portal does is receive cosmic energy. And I tell you, we were all like, it was like we were high. We came out of that thing, a couple hours later, just silly, laughing hysterically. And it was like, what happened to us?
Yeah.
But we were in this really high cosmic frequency. And the ancient people knew this. They understood what was going on energy-wise. They knew how to track it. They knew how to use pyramids for transport.
Okay.
There's so much that they knew.
When you do this time travel, and you know what? I got to throw this out there. Of course, the great book, A Spirit Traveler, go pick it up. Sonja Grace knocks this one right out of the park, guys. You're definitely going to want to, like she always does, don't get me wrong, but Spirit Traveler, you're going to want to pick this up. It's a great book, great read. I can't say enough good things. Also, if you're into history even, you get to learn more history about these places than you thought was ever possible as well. Beyond the spiritual, you get to hear about the history too. So like how it was built, why it's there, those kinds of great things. Okay, now that being said, who chooses where you go? Do you tell your spirit guides where you want to go? Do they say, hey, Sonja, we're going here, and they take you?
Nope.
Okay.
They pick the site. I think I didn't even pick Stonehenge. They came to me and said, we're going to Stonehenge. So I'm a good passenger.
Heck yeah, let's go.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah, why not? And do you get to talk to the people that are building the site? I mean, do you interact with the people around you?
The interactions that I had, that when people read the book, you'll read in these chapters, are the star beings or the demi-gods who created the site. And it was really amazing how I would travel to a site and experience some things, and then, this amazing, large, huge being would drop in and introduce themselves, and we would have this conversation about what happened. And it's demigods are very different from people, from humans. They have a much larger form. They have much more ability. Their whole cosmology is different than ours. And truly, these are the beings that people worshipped. And when I say demigods, I'm talking about Thor and Odin, and the Norse gods. I'm talking about the Hopi gods, the Tibetan gods, the Egyptian gods, the Greek gods. I mean, are all these different star beings.
What you're describing
and influenced the planet.
What you're describing, we recently had Erica Von Doniken on the show, what you're kind of describing is almost like the ancient alien theory.
Right.
In some ways,
right.
I mean, were these taken as the ancient aliens, possibly?
I believe that they were very much interpreted as ancient aliens, yes. But they were the gods. They were the gods. That's who everybody worshipped.
Okay.
And they had an active part in people's lives. Like the ancient, I call them the ancient ones at Stonehenge. They came through around 8,000 BC, and they would visit at the equinox and the solstice, and then they finally left and didn't come back again around 4,000 BC. So there's about 4,000 years that they were coming and implementing and working with people.
And what has stopped them, in your opinion, from coming to us today? I mean, showing up back then.
Yes. Well, okay, so now we have to talk about a bigger picture, and the bigger picture is there are phases of humanity. Okay, so humans being a species, there's phases, a certain amount of time that passes where a particular group of souls, of all of us being star beings ourselves, we come through, we agree, okay, we're going to do the human thing on Earth, we're going to evolve the human race in consciousness. Thus, we're going to have lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. Yes, we signed the contract in the fine print where it says there is karma involved, and we all got into, lifetimes of evolving humans. And, believe me, all of us who came through during the time of Atlantis and Lemuria are the pioneers, much in the way that the babies that are being born today Most of them are starseeds. They've never had human incarnation. And so we pioneered this whole phase of humanity, which is coming to an end. We're getting ready to end a phase and begin a new phase. That's why everybody's freaking out and going, oh my God, I've got to find my spiritual path. And, people are frantic and grasping for something to believe in and purpose to have in their life because they know innately in their soul body that we're coming to the end of a phase. It doesn't mean the world's ending. It simply means that we're transitioning.
Very cool. Very, very interesting. I have a 7-month-old son. I'm so going to start calling him Starseed from now on. Yes. Hey, y'all little Starseed over there. Yeah.
I picture a watermelon seed, so you squeeze it and it goes shooting across the room.
No, if I squeeze him,
I can't resist, Sonja. All right, so we know about Stonehenge, and we know there's 8 locations in the book, and we know you don't want to give away too much because, that would be dumb.
I want people to read the book.
That's right.
Exactly. Like a genius. So, but it would be so fantastic if you could pick maybe one other location and give us from the book and give us a little bit of the inside info on that, because this is such fascinating stuff, and we really do want everyone to run out and buy the book. Which, by the way, is it out yet?
It's out. It's out. It's available now.
Everybody, get out there, buy your copy of Spirit Traveler by Sonja Grace. You're going to love it. You really are. Unlocking the ancient mysteries and secrets of 8 of the world's greatest historic sites.
So whip another one on us, please.
Okay. Well, I would like to actually tell you about a spirit travel that I did that's not in the book, but it is equally as interesting as what's in the book.
Oh, cool.
And that is, I spirit traveled to Highclere Castle, where they shot Downton Abbey. And that place is ghost central.
Cool.
I mean, there are ghosts of people who have worked there. There's ghosts of, footmen and maids, everybody. I mean, that place it's very active. It's really intense. And when I went in there in my spirit travels, I felt sick. I felt kind of like, oh my God, there's something really wrong here. And I went down into the basement of the castle, and there's Egyptian artifacts, which everybody knows. There's Egyptian artifacts down there. And George and Almina Herbert, who were the original owners of Highclere Castle, he's the one who went to Egypt with his partner and discovered King Tut's tomb.
Oh, really?
But before that happened, him and his wife would travel to Egypt and basically rob tombs in the Valley of the Dead.
Wow.
So all of those artifacts that they found and took from the Valley of the Dead are in the basement of Highclere Castle.
Oh, I don't know, man. That'd be some bad karma to have in that basement.
Well, let me tell you what happened. I traveled to England and I went to Highclere Castle and I stood in that basement. This is after I spirit traveled there. And I saw George and Almina in the house. And do you guys remember in Egyptian history who Hatshepsut was? She was the only female pharaoh of the time.
Whoa.
Do you remember who she was? Yeah, she was the only woman to rule Egypt in I don't know how many centuries.
Yeah, I remember
and very successfully, I might add. But she was standing there yelling at me, saying, "I want my stuff returned." And they have pages, they have papyrus pages from the Book of the Dead that came from her stuff.
Oh man! Oh,
from the Book of the Dead. Yeah. Oh man is right.
Yeah, I might be returning.
So what I learned is George and Almina are forever bound as ghosts to remain in that castle until that stuff gets sent back to Egypt.
Wow, so they're stuck until they do what's right.
They're stuck. That's right. That's right. Because think of the level of magic and potency of what people were doing back in that time when those people were buried in the Valley of the Dead. All of that stuff is so intensely powerful, and then these people come along and say, "Oh, look, honey, a nice trinket. Let's take
this home." Yeah,
and they have no idea what they have.
Now, is that where karma kind of plays in? What you
Big
do
time.
is what you gotta pay for. You know what I mean?
Big time. big time. Yeah.
And
yeah,
so
and that goes across the board. I mean, people who go to Chaco Canyon and they take pottery shards and they're all excited. Look, I found all these cool pottery shards, and they take them home, and guess what happens? It's like everything goes wrong. Their car has flat tire.
Yep.
They miss their plane. They have, their house burns down. I mean, there are numerous letters on the board at Chaco Canyon that say, "I'm so sorry, I returned my pottery shards."
Well, yeah, I've heard lots of stories, like even from Hawaii, where they have taken stones.
Well, exactly. Well, you can't take lava from Hawaii.
No, you don't do that.
No, you can't. You can't. And I have the good fortune when I go to Hawaii. This has been going on for me for, 30 years now. I see King Kamehameha and his priests, and they literally talk to me and tell me what needs to be done on the islands.
They give you a to-do list. Here's your to-do list.
Oh, they really, he's really quite a taskmaster. I mean, they want to keep the island preserved as it has been, and
clip the hedges.
Definitely, in alignment with the native people. And luckily I have a client who works in politics over there, so I can feed the information to her, but it's really intense. I mean, literally, my husband and I get off the plane, we get into a rental car, and they're in the back seat.
And they're already telling you, this is what needs to be done. You thought this was a vacation, but it's really not.
Yeah, like Ixnay, the rail system. That
exactly,
kind of thing.
Exactly. You're here to work. Don't get too comfortable.
Do they dress for the times, or are they in their traditional garb?
Oh, they're in their traditional garb.
Okay.
They're in their traditional garb. I was staying in a hotel years and years and years ago with my mom on the Big Island, and my sister lived there, and she has Hawaiian kids, and her kids were still really young. And anyways, middle of the night, I hear these shells, shh, shh, and I wake up, and the hotel happens to sit on the old Hawaiian Trail, right? So I wake up, and there's this guy in this white robe. It's all feathers, and these guys in these red robes, and they're holding these shells, and they're saying, we want to talk to you. And I said, well, I'm sorry, I'm sleeping right now. Can you come back tomorrow? And they said, sure. So anyways, I go to my sister's house, and I say, wow, these guys showed up in the hotel room last night, shaking these shells, telling me they want to talk to me. And I described them, and she just turned pale. And she went,
wow.
She ran and got a book, and she showed me these pictures. And there was King Kamehameha dressed exactly in the white robe with the white feathers, and the priests in the red robes. She goes, oh my God. And it was a big deal, because they were talking to me about a piece of land that had an old heiau on it, a ceremonial site, and that it needed to not be built on. And I basically was able to stop the building of this land.
Really? Very, very cool.
Yay.
Do they ever... Do
you not only hobnob with kings and queens who happen to have, bodies and pulses,
you also
of the dead as well.
You're so funny.
A social butterfly across time and space.
Exactly. She's getting it done.
If only I could get in to see the queen, though. Come on.
Yeah, you're getting it done. Do they ever tell you, though? Do they ever give you coordinates of artifacts that they'd like to be recovered? And they tell you, hey, this is over here. Is there any way you can get it?
Yeah, no.
No?
And no. And so much of my focus actually is usually on, if I'm spirit traveling, it's on really understanding what happened and why the place was built. And in regards to that, if say I'm with King Kamehameha and his priests, they're usually telling me about, this road can't be built and you have to stop this and blah, blah, blah. So it's not about necessarily finding.
Yeah.
Although it would be fun.
It would be.
Are the dead always right? I mean, do we have to do what they say? Do you have to do what they say? I mean, aren't they sometimes wrong?
I personally work, and all my work is done, and I don't work on anybody or do any healing work without it being in accordance to the will of God and the goddess for the highest good of everyone and the highest good of the universe. I always tell my clients, it's God's will. It's not my will. I mean, I'll do what I can, and I'll help you. But ultimately, you have your karma and you have your path. And, hopefully this is going to intersect it so that you can have healing and evolve and move forward.
Well, all our lives are already predestined anyway, right? I mean, no matter what, really. I mean, there's a path that the higher power or God or whoever you want to say, I've always believed anyway, I could be wrong, but wants us to follow, that we need to follow.
I believe that what we're really dealing with here is karma, and that everything that we're encountering is something karmic from past lives. And that we have, it's really up to us to, own it and recognize that we are trying constantly to heal these emotional wounds from this lifetime and from past lives. And what happens when we grow up and become adults is life becomes a giant Broadway production, and we're putting on fantastic shows that have everything to do with that wound that took place when Daddy left and Mom got busy and we felt alone, wounded, and completely abandoned. And that's the repeat. You'll watch people, not that story, any story, but any emotional wound, it just gets repeated over and over. And we're adults now, so we don't maybe recognize it. We just sing the song of, oh, he left me again and I'm all alone, but never are people necessarily taking the time to say, why is this repeating again?
Yeah.
Why am I doing this again?
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of people have themes in their lives. I mean, the same thing keeps happening. I tell these poor people, I tell them, Albert Einstein said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
Right.
So, I mean, why do you keep letting this be a theme in your life when you have the ability to change it? And a lot of them don't have that answer. They give you that blank stare, like, what are you talking about? Because they just don't want to.
As much as today's world and all the things that are going on have people kind of on edge and nervous. If people would just take the time to look back in history, we can see numerous things repeating as a collective consciousness. And I tell people all the time, the more that you invest your energy in the duality, oh, that's so bad and they're so wrong, and your energy's leaping out of your body into that statement and that energy of it, you're just creating more karma. And that, it's same with the good. If you're, that's so good, and it's, we freak out. It's like our energy's leaving our body when in fact it should be grounding.
Yes.
And when we ground our energy and we stay in the center, meaning we just observe what is right or wrong or good or bad, then we can, stay in a place of, okay, I'm going to observe this, but I'm not going to invest in it. I'm going to mourn the loss of the people who just died on the train wreck in New Jersey, but I don't have to send my energy to that place. I can ground my energy and actually help those people a lot more.
Very well said. Very, very well said. It's all about grounding oneself.
Yes.
It really is. And, we only have a few minutes left, so I want to get the book out there again. Of course, everybody go get your copy of Spirit Traveler by Sonja Grace. You're going to love it. You're going to like it. We just scratched the surface here. You're going to have to read it for yourself to really get a good grasp of this. And it's been a heck of a good time having you on the show with us, by the way.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Can I tell people my website?
Yes, absolutely.
We demand it.
Oh, good. It's Sonja, Sonja, Grace, GRACE.com.
Everyone go over there. Look at this great website. It's really well put together. I mean, me and Eric are both envious of your website, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much.
Really
another
nice
site specifically for Spirit Traveler.
Yes. SonjaGraceSpiritTraveler.com.
Yeah, definitely check both those sites out.
And most envious of all am I. You have 3 dates coming up at the Turtle Bay Resort in Oahu, Hawaii.
I know, it's so exciting. I'm going to be doing a winter solstice meditation ceremony on December 21st, and I'm doing a couples workshop December 28th. It's from 6 to 9. Both of them are 6 to 9. And the cool thing about the couples workshop is you don't have to be in a couple to attend the couples workshop.
Oh, cool.
So if you want to be in a relationship, you can come. If you are in a relationship, you can attend. And then I come back to Hawaii in March and do a meditation retreat.
Well, do you find Hawaii? Fantastic. Do you find Hawaii before we go here to be particularly spiritually charged?
Oh, I love the islands. I've been going to Hawaii since I was 12, and I love it there. It's very spiritually charged, and it's very magical. Yes.
Very, very cool. Very cool. But again, everyone has Sonja Grace. Check it out. Go to the websites. More importantly, buy the book. Get Spirit Traveler. That's available everywhere. All better bookstores, of course. You can go to her website to order the books, of course. But definitely pick up your copy. Sooner the better. Get reading on it. And it also makes a great gift. So don't forget, Christmas is only a few months away. So I'm just saying. It's right around the corner. Again, on behalf of myself, Joel. Oh, did you have something to add, Sonja? I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, for people who love to travel, it's a great book to take along, because there's so many sites that a lot of people like to travel to. So it's as much of a travel guide as it is a historic, understanding of what's happened and what really happened.
Exactly. But on behalf of myself, Joel Sturgis, and Mr. Eric Olsen, we'd like to thank you for listening to this edition of After Hours AM. Take care of each other, love each other, and remember, stay safe during this. Well, we're just now starting the holiday season for Halloween, but stay safe.
Thank you for listening to this edition of After Hours AM, and please remember to like us on Facebook and also follow us over on Twitter.